was definitely an interesting card on Saturday, even though I thought the main event went pretty much exactly the way that you really should have seen it going. Shout out to Mr. Lamprey. We'll get into that a little bit more, of course, as we get into this thing. There is a interesting conversation around Michael Bisping, interesting to say the least, just because one wannabe boxer is trying to call a 40-year-old blind in one eye, retired man with no knees out, and he's trying to make it seem like it's a legitimate call out. Spoiler alert. It's not. And then also, you know what? Even though that UFC Vegas 52 doesn't look like it's going to be an amazing card by any means, there's still some really good fights that we're going to check out here that you guys are going to need to pay attention to this weekend. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Ross Allen, joined alongside by the best in the business, MMA, UFC fourth and long correspondent Blake Campbell. And Blake, how are we feeling after the happenings of UFC Vegas 51?
Feeling pretty decent. Not the most exhilarating card in existence, but it was a fight card nonetheless, so can't complain. People are punching each other on the face on a Saturday.
Nothing bad about that. It's definitely hard to follow up UFC 273, which was a pretty damn good card. And so to have to go to a main event like Vicente Luque and Belal Muhammad, that's just kind of... It is what it is. Luckily, we get, kind of two lesser cards. It picks up with Vaughn versus Vera here in a couple weeks. And then, of course, we get UFC 274, which is going to be freaking fantastic. Especially with a guy like Tony Ferguson coming back to our television screens. But before we get into Michael Bisping possibly coming back to be a fighter, quick word from our sponsor, and today's sponsor is going to be books.
Hey, it's the publisher here, Mr. Kelly Cole. Listen, if you are a former professional athlete, if you are a former college athlete or sports coach, and you're looking to launch your speaking career, let me tell you, you need a book. If you're already out there speaking and you want to track more high-paid speaking engagements, you need a book. It's not about creating more content to post on social media. It's not about recording a bunch of videos. It's not about doing more podcasts. The number one secret to attracting more high-paid speaking engagements or even launching your speaking career is a book. Hey, I'm the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole, and I help former athletes and sports coaches create best-selling books in 30 days to launch their speaking career, even if they hate writing and don't know where to start. So for the first time ever, I've created a free case study video that will not only show you how to write a book from scratch in as little as 30 days and become a best-selling author, it will also show you how to attract more high-paid speaking engagements. Now, to check out this free case study video, click the link that says learn more or go to booksforathletes.com. Real quick before you go, do not go if you're not a former athlete or sports coach, because you won't find any value in what I'm about to share. And don't go if your book is already out and already on Amazon. You won't find any value in what I share over there. But if you are a former athlete or sports coach, know that you need a book, or already out there speaking and you want to launch your speaking career, go check out that link now. Writing a book is not as hard as you think. It doesn't even matter if you don't know where to start. My case study video will show you how to start and get it done and onto the bestsellers list. So go now.
Of course, I appreciate you guys listening through an ad, and I would appreciate you even more if you go check them out on Instagram at Books for Athletes, or check out their website, booksforathletes.com, so we can keep this sponsorship going, so I can keep making money that I may or may not be reporting to the IRS. I definitely am. Also, just like I definitely am paying for every single one of my UFC pay-per-views. But Blake, we're going to hop into UFC Vegas 51 right here, and the question we always have to ask, and I think you're going to have to give yourself a little bit of pat on the back this week, because did the bangers hit?
I would say so. Let's remind the people what they were. We had Barnett versus Boudet, a little bit of an anticlimactic ending there, but it was still,
to say the least, one of two on the night that confused the shit out of me.
Still a decent fight, though. I mean, definitely not the featured banger, but still good. We had Clark versus Knight, which I thought was awesome, just as I expected. even though they fought at heavyweight instead of, I think they were both light heavyweights before that. And then lastly, we had Fialho, right? Versus, oh my God.
Miguel
Don't tell me I
Baeza.
forgot his name. Miguel Baeza.
okay.
Thank you. And that one was a pretty damn good fight as well. Fialho getting the
a great
finish.
fight.
So sucks for Baeza. He's kind of on a slide now, but all those fights.
He better not get cut. He was kind of saying that, like, to Andre in there. But he's fought some killers. It'd be a shame if the UFC cuts him. He's a pretty damn good fighter.
He's a talented guy. I think maybe just kind of go a little lower on the ladder now for a little bit. Give him a couple fights.
Maybe don't give him Ponzinibbio, and then to the guy that just called out Darren Till, Hamza tried to kill in
Joaquin Buckley,
and then you're going to give him Andre Fialho on top of that. That's kind of a horrible stretch of 3 fights.
Did he fight Buckley? I thought he fought Chaos.
Sorry, what is Chaos Williams, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little off on there, but does that make me racist if I confuse the two?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good. Now I'm trying to get us canceled. Not even 5 minutes into recording, so that's good.
No racism allowed here.
No, racism bad, of course, because we need to condone it for some reason. But some of these fights, dude, Clark versus Brown Bear is a freaking savage, and he looks like he hits like a cement truck. That looked tough. Now, also, I have no idea how Knight ever made light heavyweight with how big he was looking on Saturday. It's a big boy.
Yeah, he came in like right at the limit too, didn't he?
I don't think so.
I want to say it was like 260 at least.
Damn. Definitely looked like he wasn't messing around, but Devin Clark definitely looked like the more of a fighter type body,
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what Devin Clark does, because he's not necessarily been one of the best guys in his division, but he's always put on a hell of a fight.
Remember that one picture where he took his mouthpiece out and his like 2 bottom front teeth were like smashed in?
Yeah.
It was all bloody. That was gnarly. I think he lost that fight. I can't remember which fight that was, but he's always in a banger.
Right? Dude, I'm never going to hate on a man, win or lose, if he just is in consistent banger of fights, because that's kind of why I watch the sport, if I'm being honest.
Shouts out Michael Chandler. Shouts out Tony Ferguson.
Shout out to Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson in a few weeks.
Exactly.
Oh boy, that is maybe poor Tony. We'll see. We'll definitely see, though. I definitely don't want to talk smack about Tony Ferguson, because if you do, he has one of the most dedicated fan bases in all of MMA, and so that's only going to be bad for me. That's something I'm going to be sticking away. But one of the things I want to take a look here is there's definitely a few fighters on this card whose stock rose after their performances at UFC Vegas 51. So we're going to take a look at them and kind of gauge the temperature regarding them as well. First one we're going to start off with is I feel like a fairly underrated guy. He's been quietly just really good and dominant in Pat Sabatini. What do you think about this guy?
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of highlighted him last week when we were talking, and it's just an impressive resume he's kind of put together, especially his last few fights. Just seems like he always finds a way to get the dub.
And not even in this case, trying to find a way to get a dub, he freaking smashed.
Yeah. It's probably time for a step up in competition for that guy.
How close is he getting to the rankings?
Man, I can't even remember. What's his streak right now? He's at least on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak now, right?
I believe so.
Let me see here.
We'll get exact numbers real quick.
I know he's at least on a 4 fight win streak.
4 fight win streak.
Yeah. I think the main thing with Pat, though, is he's got to start getting some finishes. He's only got 1 submission in his last 4 fights, and that was against Jamal Emmers. So maybe just find a way. I mean, the TJ Laramie fight, he put on a hell of... I mean, that was just like as close to a shutout as you could get, I feel like, in MMA. I mean, the unofficial numbers are just like ridiculous. Like he outstruck the dude by over 102 strikes.
Even that Tucker Lutz fight, too. With Tucker coming to that fight 12-1, I think. So...
Yeah.
And he shut him down.
So I mean, he's getting these solid performances, but he's not really getting the highlight finishes. So once he starts getting those on his record, it's really going to be all systems go for that guy. But he looks like the full package so far.
Definitely has more exciting finishing or decision fights than Belal Muhammad does. We'll get to that main event. I just don't care. Next guy I want to talk about is Munir Lazez, and if you want to talk about just putting on a striking clinic, dude, his combos looked freaking amazing last weekend. Mm-hmm. Damn, he looked good.
Yep. He's coming up, so we'll see where he gets next. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, like you said, that was a clinic. He was piecing that guy up pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. I guess you definitely can't deny the fact that this guy's stock went up in Andre Fiallo with another just pretty damn good, stoppage victory in this one. And bro, he's going to be a problem. I think all three of these guys are going to be some freaking problems in their respective divisions.
Yeah, I was impressed by each and every single one of those guys that you just mentioned, especially Fiallo.
Anyone else we need to shout out who had a pretty much like an eye popping performance on Saturday? Anyone else in your opinion?
Yeah, I would say honorable mention would be Drakkar Klose, just because he kind of reminded everybody, don't match me up with guys that are newcomers to the UFC or fresh in their career.
Wasn't fair.
And I mean, I think I remember hearing on the broadcast, like apparently they used to train together too.
Mm-hmm.
So
back in Michigan.
Yeah, well, wherever, either that or
like from Michigan. Remember the stories with him and Justin James bar fighting in Michigan?
Yeah, and it was either going to be I was going to say it was either that or what's his name trained at the lab with Klose for a little bit. So I'm thinking that's where it was.
Okay,
but I'm not too sure the origins of that. I just remember hearing that on the broadcast. But man, he took that dude for a dog walk. I mean, it was just. It was a beatdown, bro. Like
I think it was like around like a minus 1,000 favorite going to this fight.
Yeah.
So the odds were accurate, but also if you're making a fight where the odds are even that close to minus 1,000 as a favorite, you probably shouldn't be making that fight.
But I mean, it was good to see Drakkar go out there and do his thing, and kind of remind people like, hey, I'm still that guy. Like I'm not. Fair. I'm not like a lower level fighter. I'm a guy that should be matched up with top 15 talent like at all times, unless you want the boy to get hurt.
Unless you want to see me kill someone in the octagon, which apparently that's what Dana White and the matchmakers want to see on Saturday. But let's get into the main event here. Obviously I've been hating on it, so it's time to let's really assess it so we can fully hate on it because this is one of the rare occasions where, Blake, I'm not sure if the better fighter won. On this evening. Am I off in saying that? Because to me, Vicente Luque, he's better at pretty much everywhere except for from his back in his takedown defense. Am I too far off with that statement?
There's a lot to unpack with this one, dude. Like, I'm gonna be the first to admit, I don't. When Belal fights, I don't care. I just really don't give a. Like, I want to cuss to really get my point across.
Yeah. Because it's like, dude, on Twitter was how I think it has to be one of the best takes in MMA. Just going to pat myself on the back, of course. But, if you guys didn't see, I said that it's one thing, or you can do both of these at the same time. At the same time, you can recognize and respect a fighter's dominance and ability to shut out and just dominate their opponent and win a fight. It's one thing you could respect that, but at the same time, I could also find them extremely boring and not care when they fight. Yeah. That's Belal Muhammad.
Like, 100% all respect to Belal for getting the dub. He's fighting killers. He's dominant. And he's finding a way to get a win.
He's good at what he does.
But at the same time, this is an entertainment business. And basically, as I said before, anytime I see his name in a main event slot or even anywhere on a card, I'm probably going to be a snack. I'm probably going maybe not even tune in. Like, it just doesn't really matter to me unless I think Belal's going to get knocked out, to be honest. Like, that's the only time I'd probably tune in. And I might sound like a hater, but it's like I just don't want to watch a dude hugging a guy for, 25 minutes straight. Because it's like, it's one thing, and we've said this about a lot of people, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if you take a guy down and you just hold him there and you don't do shit. And that's what Belal does. He doesn't do shit.
Does
he just
enough
takes the
to
dude
not
down.
get stood up.
Exactly. But like, you can't tell me those strikes that he's landing on Vicente on the ground, like those, dude, that's like pillows. You know, like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many clips I've seen this week where it's just like, dude, like what is that?
Yeah, it's a strike it's a definition of a strike, but is it really
Is it doing any damage at all whatsoever? No, it might be tickling him. Might be annoying him a little bit, like, but it's, dude, I don't know. I was halfway expecting him to just like start giving Luque a wedgie or something, because it's
Well,
just,
what, Willie?
yeah, like
That might be
what are
more
we
damaging,
doing?
though.
Yeah, seriously. You
Imagine
might
he puts
actually
out
get
like
a
a
TKO
little
for once.
little Indian burn or a noogie, bro.
Because I mean, the main thing too that pisses me off with Belal is like, what kind of submissions do you have? I've never seen him attempt to like end a fight in any manner.
This is one guy. He has in 11 UFC fights. He has one knockout. That doesn't excite me. And the hard thing is with how much he talks. He sounds like a guy that has like a 75% finish rate, or like maybe at least gets a knockout every few fights. No, he doesn't. He talks all this smack to go in and win a fight in the least amount of, damage way possible. And then he tries to call out bigger names, acting like, they're going to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's now, he's now at the top 5. There's 4 guys in front of him. You got Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Khamzat Chimaev, Gilbert Burns. I don't think he stands a chance against any of those 4.
I think the fight to be made is him versus Gilbert.
I'd like that too. Him versus Gilbert, Khamzat versus Colby.
Absolutely.
And then Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards.
And even if Colby's scared, like do a 5-rounder with Burns and Chimaev, run that back, winner gets the title shot after Leon, and let Colby fight Belal.
So recently Dana said that Gilbert Burns he's going award Gilbert Burns with a big fight for his next one. I'm not sure if that's Chimaev. Might be Nate Diaz.
Would Nate take that, though? You think he would take that?
Maybe. What do you think?
I mean,
I think there's a good chance he does.
It's damn near the same fight he took against Leon. I mean,
I don't see why he wouldn't take that. Like, Nate Diaz doesn't really turn down fights like that.
Be interesting.
And that's a good payday for Gilbert, too, if you want to award him for going to war with Khamzat.
I could watch Khamzat and Burns fight every day of the week for the rest of my life.
And twice on Sundays.
Yeah.
Also, I would feel horrible watching those two guys fight each other more than twice a year, because that's some brain damage right there, bro. It's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super intrigued to see that rematch already. Like, I want to see how is Khamzat gonna, try to make it a cleaner win next time and try and get a finish, or how is Gilbert gonna overcome the power advantage that Khamzat clearly had, but find a way to get that dub this time.
Is a 5-round rematch between Khamzat Chimaev and Gilbert Burns the most exciting welterweight fight you can make right now?
With proof in the pudding, so to speak, yeah, I'd say so. Like, we've seen that fight, we kind of have a feeling for how it would go. So based off of just what we've already seen, I'd say, yeah, that's probably the one that I would be most pumped up for.
Over Conor McGregor versus Kamaru Usman, or McGregor versus Diaz.
I mean, that's
those
a different
are the only
story.
ones I think that could compete with Burns versus
McGregor and Usman would be way more hyped, but I don't know if it would necessarily be a better fight.
Exactly.
We haven't seen those guys fight yet, and we don't know how McGregor's size is going to translate to 170. So I feel like there's still a lot of unknowns with that, but man, you can't deny like that would be the most hyped fight of all time for welterweight history, probably. I mean, any McGregor fight in any division is probably going to be at the top of the list for like most hyped fights.
Exactly, but to your point, the actual fight though, Probably is Burns and Burns and Hamza at this point. That just goes to show you how damn good that was. And I still have a lingering feeling, especially since we didn't really get to go into that card last week just because of how scheduling worked out. I almost feel like Gilbert Burns came out of that fight with a bigger increase to his stock than Hamzat did.
Well, his stock definitely didn't decrease. I'll tell you that.
Neither guy.
If anything, yeah, I'd say it slightly rose for Hamzat in a lot of people's eyes, or stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gilbert for sure. There's no way that anyone thought any less of him after that fight, because he took on the number 11 guy, no questions asked, and fought a hell of a fight. I mean, the hype with this guy is real, It's crazy.
I agree with the Hamzat decision, but it might not be a great argument, but you can make an argument that Gilbert Burns won that fight.
I don't think so.
I think in the third, the strikes were pretty close. So either the first or third is one of the two. But bro, that second round absolutely to Burns.
The second round was Burns for sure. I had it first and third for Hamzat and second for Burns. But
I just want to see that fighting in, because those dudes are freaking savages.
2 more rounds on that night, someone would have died for sure.
I think Burns wins in 5. At least on that night.
Because I think Hamzat was right back where he was round 3.
But I would give 1 to Hamzat, 2 to Burns, 3 being super close, but give me the edge to Hamzat. I think 2 more rounds would have gone in Burns' way.
I don't think so. There's no way he would have won 2 rounds in a row.
No? You think it ends up being like maybe 3-2 to Hamzat then?
Did you see Burns after the fight? That dude was busted, bro.
Hamzat looked pretty bad too.
I mean, yeah, because he already got in like a car accident and had that huge gash on his face that opened up. So, yeah. I mean, they both didn't look good after the fight, but I think Hamzat could have easily won another 10 minutes.
Let's see it. Dana White, let's see it. Sweet. Oh, man. They're probably going to be fighting each other for there's a good chance they fight each other for a title anyway, so that's automatic five rounds right there. And I would have 0 complaints about that one. I'm just not, but going back to Belal, though, I'm just not sure where he goes from here, because he probably fights Gilbert Burns, and he probably loses to Gilbert Burns, because this is going to be the first guy that, no, he's definitely not going to be the first guy that Belal cannot outstrike. And I think this is going to be the first guy that he can't out-wrestle. Gilbert Burns has advantage in every part of this fight, I think.
I agree. I would like to see that fight just so we can kind of stop the Belal hype train. It's just kind of... Do we forget what Leon Edwards did to him?
Right? I don't want to...
Excuse the eye poke, but it's like, dude, he was getting absolutely obliterated in that fight.
I don't just want to hate on Belal, but he's not an exciting fighter, and I think he's done great up to this point, but I don't think he can make the jump to the next level.
Imagine Belal on a main event, like pay-per-view or like a co-main. Dude, that would be so trash. That would be so trash.
I'd rather see Clay Guida main event.
Absolutely. Clay Guida's in the Hall of Fame. That goes without saying.
Belal's not going to come close to the Hall of Fame.
Not the way he fights. Like, you got to take some risks. And I mean, you see the fights he does take risks, like Luque, the first fight.
Got knocked out.
Gets knocked out.
For someone who has the audacity to have a nickname like Remember the Name, he sure as hell puts on the most forgettable fights.
Yep.
That's my gripe with that one. But let us know your thoughts on that one. Are we wrong for hating on Belal the way we are? Does he deserve a little bit more respect? Or what do you think is next for him as well? But what we're going to do here is we are now going to jump into, for the first time in a couple weeks, it's time for What the Blink. Let's see if I got any ring rust with this. Of course, one of the favorite segments, fan favorite, it's What the Blink with Blake, as Blake fills in the blanks on 3 statements that have a blank in them, and it's up to Blake to fill in the blank. I still got it.
Killing it.
Just killing the game. That's what I do. And you're about to kill these blanks as we go. What the Blink, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, those that don't know how this works, I got 3 statements for Blake, and each one of them has a blank in either the beginning, the middle, or the end. And it's up to him to fill it in with whatever he will choose. So, statement number 1, Blake, is that I kind of post about this too, so you go check us out on our socials at Fourth and Long Media, 4TH and Long Media, both places, Instagram and Twitter. But for those that remember, we're going to preface this a little bit. Back, I think it was it 2016 when GSP fought Michael Bisping for the middleweight belt. They put in a stipulation to the contract that he would have to defend it against Robert Whittaker.
You were at my house for that fight, right?
What's up?
You were at my house for that fight.
Was I?
Yeah, remember, wasn't that the TJ Cody rematch?
I don't think I was. I don't know. No.
I feel like you were. You were at least at the first TJ Cody fight. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I think it was that one.
No, yeah, because this one was in the fall time probably, so you were probably busy with school stuff.
I was probably doing football. Yeah. I probably had the game that night.
Because was this the one that had Rose and Johanna on it too?
Was it? I won't be able to tell you.
I remember there was like 3 ridiculously good fights that night.
Hey. But nonetheless, one of them was Bisping versus GSP. Of course, GSP won the middleweight championship with the rear naked choke. I believe he definitely submitted Michael Bisping in this one. And he never went on to fight Robert Whittaker because he had those stomach issues, ended up just vacating the belt again and pissing off Dana White entirely. But to make a long story short, the statement I have for you, Blake, is that GSP would have blanked if he fought Robert Whittaker like he was supposed to.
Oh, yeah, I was right. Rose and Joanna, TJ Cody, GSP, Michael Bisping, Stephen Thompson, Jorge Masvidal.
Sweet damn,
Paulo
dude.
Costa, Johnny Hendricks. Dude, it was a hell of a freaking card. Hell of a freaking card.
What a card.
I think, dude, even the prelims were ridiculous. Oh, my God. I think GSP would have lost that fight, to be completely honest with you. I really do. Because let's think about this logically, right? He's not a 185er. He went up to 185 for one fight, Michael Bisping, because he knew that was like a winnable fight.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes against Robert Whittaker in Whittaker's prime, when he was dusting Yoel Romero, that was still before he dusted him, but it was like he was on that trajectory. Or was that? I can't remember. No, because he was the interim champ. I can't remember who he beat for the interim championship, though. Dude, Robert Whittaker would have annihilated GSP. Like, he would have been way bigger. He would have been just as technical, if not, GSP didn't fight against dudes like that are fighting today. All respect to GSP, but let's be honest, like, it's just going to keep getting more and more technical and competitive and just top to bottom, just filled out in the UFC roster. Mm-hmm. Like, the only divisions that are kind of lacking right now are probably the women's divisions, except for strawweight. Every other division, it's like, the top 15 dudes in the world are pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like GSP would have had a big time problem with Whittaker's size. And, there wouldn't have been too much of a speed advantage for GSP either. And I don't know. I just would have really seen GSP having a tough time with Robert.
I like that, and I was feeling a little vindicated with my prediction on that one as well. But statement number 2 is speaking about the women's division.
Wait, you were saying that you would go with Rob too?
I think I would, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think he would have just been too big.
Rob would have beaten either guy.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a doubt about that one. But like you say, with those, speaking about those women divisions, Blake, statement number 2, only one woman having a knockout win in 2022 is blank. Shout out Meatball Molly.
Oh, man, it's alarming. Like, almost 5 months into the year now, and what we had maybe the first 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have had...
There's been 24 women's fights, if I remember correctly, up to this point.
So that's absolutely horrendous.
1 in 24 is not good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just like the higher end girls haven't really stepped in the cage yet, or because I'd have to really look at like who's fought so far this year. And then I'd be able to decide like, okay, a lot of the studs haven't fought yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would make a little bit of sense, but 1 out of 24, man, that is rough. That is rough.
At least the one knockout we have seen was the fourth is spinning back elbow KO in UFC history.
It's
So
probably up there for KO of the year, men's and women's.
it's absolutely up there for KO of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the celebration of the year.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, that's a little bit of a controversial one. And, the last statement, speaking about controversy, let's talk about Jake Paul. Because, Blake...
It's my favorite.
Oh, boy, shut up. Statement number 3, Michael Bisping versus Jake Paul is blank.
Expected? Kind of. Like, I mean, at this point...
Is it going to happen?
I almost feel like he was, what was that one dude that fought Justin Gaethje, and I think he got a little bit of a tryout in the UFC. Was it like Nick Newell? He had one arm.
Oh.
I think it was between him and Bisping for the next fight.
I don't know, man. Newell, I don't think he's old enough for Jake Paul to try to fight him.
Yeah, dude. It's
so stupid.
I mean, a part of me wants to see it because I'm like, damn, maybe Mike can do it. But at the same time, it's like one eye, no knees, 43 years old, been retired for 4 years.
Yeah.
Probably not the best option for us to see
Also,
knockout on Jake Paul.
let's not act like Michael Bisping was a fantastic striker in the UFC as well.
I mean, he was good, but yeah, he wasn't world class, I would say.
No.
He was more of like a full, like the full package type fighter.
Yeah.
Has good kickboxing for sure. If it was a kickboxing fight, I'd like Michael, but
I'm taking Michael 10 times out of 10.
But it's boxing. You only get to use 2 of your utensils. So,
but also that just goes to show you that the funny thing so Jake Paul's trying to go after all these former UFC guys. There's a guy, his weight class, his experience, an older guy that he likes to fight as well, UFC veteran, Anderson Silva, that he has yet to even mention his name.
Or even Vitor, right? Vitor Belfort as well.
Even Vitor, yeah. Bro, and Jake still hasn't even mentioned his name. That's why Jake Paul is a bitch. He's trying to fight all these old guys that have a bunch of injuries, and he's just going after these names for namesake, but he's not going to actually take a real fight because he's not that good of a boxer. That's facts.
I have nothing to add.
Just a head nod?
I fight Jake Paul for free. Put it out there.
I'll fight Jake Paul.
I don't even box. I don't do nothing
because I'm
like
not
that.
a boxer. But
He wouldn't do me like Tyron, I'll tell you that.
Bro, you got to shoot a double leg before that happens.
I'd be throwing a flying Jorge Masvidal knee before that happens.
Bro, bring him in for a tie clinch. Just
something. Throw a bow in there.
Just lock in the Kimura real quick. Pull
I'm
guard.
fighting him for free. I have nothing to lose. I'll just,
Exactly. Just pull a guard real
headbutt
quick.
him,
Choke him
do
out.
something crazy.
Guillotine.
Kick him in the leg.
Oblique kick.
Modestus. What was that one dude?
Busakis.
Oh, bro.
Ruin Jake Paul's fight career. Become a hero to the world, Blake.
God,
you be our martyr.
Ugh. I couldn't imagine just doing that to somebody, bro. That'd be so fucking gross.
Unless it's Jake Paul, then I totally can.
Yeah, even then I'd feel a little bad. I'd be like, damn, you're going to be in a wheelchair.
You be a hero, Blake. You be a hero. You get lifted up on someone's shoulders for doing that.
It would be for the betterment of society.
I won't deny that. Oh, boy. But let's know your thoughts on Jake Paul versus Michael Bisping. Only one woman having a KO in 2022. And as well, what do you guys think would happen if GSP actually fought Robert Whittaker like he was supposed to? Would he have lost? Would he have won? Would his legacy have been tarnished for the good of everyone? Possibly. I don't know. Would he still be the GOAT if he fought Robert Whittaker? Maybe not. Maybe not. A lot of things change right there. Would John Jones be the GOAT if he could stop hitting women with cars or his fists? Probably. But of course, drop your thoughts on that in the comments. We're going to get rolling into our last little bit here with our UFC Vegas 52 preview. Of course, this isn't necessarily the best card that we're going to see this year. But I guess one thing that the thing I always go with when it comes to these lesser cards, at least on paper, is that a lot of the time that they do end up proving us wrong and being more exciting than we originally thought. So
And it's also a chance for an introduction, too, for lesser-known fighters.
exactly. So there's still good that's going to come from this. So I really can't hate on it too much. We see some good fights on this one. Like Prochnow and Linz is a good fight. And we'll get to the bangers in a second. But even like Louis Cosi and Preston Parsons, Jordan Wright, and Barry Alt. That's a couple good fights right there as well. They're going to be super interesting. And we're going to see Alexander Romanov murder Chase Sherman, who was brought back into the UFC after being cut 2 weeks ago, and he's now going to be the sacrificial lamb to Alexander Romanov, and it's going to be like a Jakar Close all over again. But with that being said, Blake, it's time for the bangers. What you got for us this week?
Alrighty, UFC Vegas 52 bangers. We're gonna go with Manel Cape versus Sumada Ergi. Don't
That's
ask
exactly
me
how
to
you
pronounce that
pronounce
again. I don't know what I just said. And then we're also gonna go with, in the co-main event, Clay Guida versus Claudio Puelles. And the featured banger for this week, Lando Venata versus Charles Air Jourdain.
That's a good fight right there.
That's
a
a
good fight.
fantastic fight right there.
That's a banger. That's a banger if I've ever seen one, Blake.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fight that screams out to me as soon as I see the listings.
It was Jourdain that had kind of like that Sparta kick in his last fight, right? Where he knocks that dude down at the buzzer.
Yeah, it was like some black dude. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's a front kick to the body. That looked great.
Right at the end of the fight, too. So disrespectful.
Just shove him on his ass.
Oh,
Because it's
dude.
hardly a kick. It's more like a shove with his foot.
Yeah, it was
great.
It was pretty cool looking.
It definitely looked painful.
This
And
is
that's how
Sparta his ass.
you're losing this whole fight, and then at the end you just get kicked on your ass too. That's tough.
That wouldn't be enjoyable.
No. I think that's super safe to say. And then when it comes to the main event, of course, we got probably one of the best, if not the best, prospect in the women's divisions in the UFC. We have Amanda Lemos, and she's taking on former champ, former dominating specimen in Jessica Andrade. So this is a super interesting matchup. This is a good comeback fight for Jessica to be able to test herself, but also this could be a tremendous step in the right direction for Amanda as well. So what are your thoughts on this one, and also your predictions for this one as well?
This is the prediction part's tough.
It's
My
tough
thoughts
to call.
on this fight is I think it's awesome. I think this could potentially be number 2 of the year of a finish for the women's division.
In terms of the
for a
women's main
knockout.
events we've been seeing recently, not necessarily great. This is definitely an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, both of these fighters are super talented. Like you said, Andrade is an ex-champion. She's fought in the flyweight division. She's challenged Valentina. So, I mean, tons of experience at the highest level.
Challenge is definitely a stretch of that word, but we understand.
Well, it is officially on record that she challenged her for the belt. Let's give the girl some credit here.
Fair enough.
And she's still a killer, man. I mean, look at what she did to Calvillo in their last fight. She still
only
got that
beat
power.
Arguably the greatest women's strawweight fighter of all time.
Yeah, Rose knocked her out with the slam, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah, dropped her on her head.
Yeah, so I mean, she's got the full package. She can wrestle, she can submit, she can strike. This is going to be a huge test for Lemos, and if Lemos can get through Andrade, she's probably getting up there for a title challenge. I mean, I'd say she's at least like 1 or 2 fights away still, but she's on the right trajectory.
I would say 1 fight behind, probably behind, because we're getting Cookie Monster versus so we're getting Esparza versus Thug Rose, and then I feel like the winner of Jacek versus Whaley too could definitely get a title shot.
It could almost
Especially if
be
it's-
like Rodriguez versus the winner of this fight.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And then they're kind of like
yeah.
second/third in line because it'll It'll be obviously Esparza and Rose coming up, and then probably the winner of Whaley and Joanna.
Well, it's depending on that
Most
time,
likely.
depending on the time of that, if we can get Rodriguez versus the winner of this fight, depending on what happens, they could definitely be the next in line after Esparza.
Especially if it's impressive performances, like say Lemos knocks out Andrade, and then say Lemos knocks out Rodriguez, or vice versa.
Or Rodriguez knocks.
That's going to be, a bunch of hype on that, because it'll be the new blood in the division, and I'm sure people want to see some new faces every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's why a lot of people
I don't really see anyone that doesn't want Thug Rose as champion.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
So, yeah, I think it's a really good fight. Prediction, it's tough for me to pick against Andrade just because of all that she's done in the sport.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna just play it safe and go Andrade this week, probably by it's 5-round, right? Main event.
Yep.
I'll probably go 4th round TKO for Andrade.
Okay.
I just think she's gonna wear her down and finish her in the 4th.
I like that. And going back to kind of one of our previous points, I think the proof just might be in following the stats on this one. I'll go Andrade by decision. Not going to get a finish in this one, unfortunately. I just don't know, man. I just don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get a finish.
Same.
But the numbers don't lie right now, and right now those numbers spell disaster for you, Samoa Joe. I love you guys, whoever understand that reference. You, Blake, do you under little Steiner math?
Absolutely.
Okay, just checking. I love that. Oh man, but that's going to do it for us here for UFC Talk 86. But before, I love a little ball throw right there. Did it land anywhere cool?
No, it's just on the ground.
Okay. That
I was just being dramatic.
Okay, you drama queen. Unbelievable.
I'll throw it away later, though. I don't litter.
Well, I mean, is it littering if it's in your own house? I think that's just being messy.
Yeah, I'm not messy either.
Okay,
clean.
cool. Just got to make sure, Blake. You're going to get canceled for littering. But before we cap things off,
I thought you said it wasn't littering, you bitch.
It's time for the Nay of the week, and it's Blake's bank account once again. It's fine for littering. Just playing. It's really going to be Joaquin Buckley, because this guy tried to look cool, tried to get the whole backstage thing on Darren Till challenging into a fight. Now Hamza Shamad just goes, "Who was that?"
Literally, who the fuck is that guy? Part 2.
Bro, part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Except this time, I saw a tweet. I can't remember who the fuck tweeted it, but he was like, dude, like, the funniest thing is, like, Connor damn well knew who Jeremy Stevens was when he said that. Hamza legitimately had, and Till legitimately both had no clue who Joaquin Buckley was.
I'm kind of surprised Darren Till didn't know, but Hamza Shamad absolutely doesn't surprise me that he legit doesn't know who Joaquin Buckley is.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me at all. And then I thought it was kind of cool, him, kind of barking back at Joaquin Buckley and kind of sticking up for Till a little bit.
That's the bro ship, bro. That's
the Smesh Bros
right there. The Smesh bro ship. All right, there's nothing like a good bro ship. You always got your bro. Unless the only people that can insult your bros is the other bros.
Yeah, the bros.
Yeah, if you're an outsider, no, bro, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, then you have to bro down with that guy and throw down.
It's the bro down showdown. You're gonna take that hoedown to the hoedown, country style.
Consensually.
Thanks. Gotta look out for all bases, don't we?
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. We're not trying
We're
to
the most wholesome, politically correct podcast in the world. I would say that's safe to say.
I know.
And I'm straight edge.
No, we're not getting back on this again. I'm going to end it before we can get going. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, you can catch us everywhere: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, Anywhere to Catch Podcasts. We're there. We're also just on our website at thefourthandlong.com. Catch us on our socials at Fourth and Long Media on both Instagram and Twitter. But Blake, your thoughts on Joaquin Buckley getting punked in one word or phrase?
Who the fook is that guy? That's like the one thing. And I also have to say, like, Belal, bro, step it up, dog. Do something cool. If you just even threw like a spinning heel kick, I'd probably shut up. But you don't do anything.
If you threw a jab,
don't get me fired up right now.
Can we just have him throw like maybe a 3-punch combo?
That would be cool.
It's a good start. Just give me 1, 2, 3. Give me classic 1, 2, 3. You know,
I'd be down with that. Joaquin, rest up, bro. Ice up, son.
Oh, poor guy. No. We'll see you guys. UFC Talk 87.